very aggressive and spirited defensive practice. I don't know what was said to them or what got into them, but for the first time since I've been here, they had a mentality in practice today was like what was like last time we were here, which was really neat to see. I don't know what happened, but by far the best defensive practice we've had in our year of being here, spring and fall included. So that's great to see, and hopefully they'll come back out and do it tomorrow. I think they all realize that what happened last week in practice carried over into the game, and I think they don't want it to happen again this week.
How much do you think the fact that Matt wasn't in there and we're going with Mitch had to do with that?
Nothing. It had nothing to do with the mentality of what they were doing up front and how fast they were running to the ball. It had nothing to do with what quarterback it was. You could just see a different look in him, and it was what we've been trying to work for a long time, the look of making plays, not talking about it and pointing fingers and standing over people after you do it, just going back to the huddle and doing it again. And so it was really neat to see, and it would be great to have as we go into these last two games.
How did Mitch look out there today?
Good. Did some really good things, and he took probably 90% of the reps. John took the other 10%, and thought he did well. Kept him in the pocket a lot of shotgun stuff he's comfortable with. So if Matt can't play, he'll be ready to play.
What changed with TJ Bryant? I think last week you said he looked like he was going to be able to play on Saturday, and then
yeah, we had the MRI, and then it came back that it wasn't a tear, but that it was loose from a surgery he had in high school, and so it was something that, if we really wanted to force the subject, that we could have played. He could have played down the stretch here, even though it wouldn't have been 100%. And he elected to have the surgery.
Go ahead.
So what is Matt's status at this point?
He didn't practice today.
Yeah.
And hopefully he'll practice tomorrow.
Have you ever had, in your experience coaching, have you ever had a player that didn't even dress on Tuesday and ended up starting?
Sure, it happens a lot. A lot of times we make them put the pads and they stand there. Tyron Smith didn't practice today. We have 3 or 4 guys that don't practice every week on Tuesdays that end up playing. Some of them end up starting. So, and him really, because of his preparation and how he's preparing in there, like he's starting, even if he weren't to go throughout the whole week, I would still feel comfortable with him playing.
Would you play if he didn't practice at all this week? Would you start him?
If he was healthy on Saturday, yeah.
If you had a player who had a high ankle sprain and played 6 days later?
I don't know. I don't. It'd be 7 days. I don't know the exact extent of ankle sprains across, or haven't kept track of them over the years.
Whether you're going to publicly name a starter is one thing, but last time this happened with Matt and Aaron Corp going into the Washington game last year, there was sort of some communication issues between Pete and Aaron, and he never told him he was a starter, and it kind of became a big thing. Are you going to, if you conclude that Mitch is a starter, are you going to tell him before the game and kind of make it clear to the team what the situation is, even if you don't,
Yeah, I don't know what happened before, so I can't speculate on that. Our players will always know who's going to start the game, regardless of position, before, and so will the unit. So that I don't know if that happened, but something like that would not be an issue here.
Sorry, that was such a long question.
Mitch has waited a long time for this opportunity. Is there anything that you would say to him, maybe to calm him down a little bit, or to? He's been here a long time. He probably doesn't calming down like a freshman would or something. But thought about how you might deal with that.
Well, I think it'd be a pretty neat story. If he ends up playing and playing really well, I think it's kind of what's happened to him would be kind of what happened to the team. He's gone through a lot of stuff, just like these guys have, and had stuff taken away from him, and hasn't played, and just like this team has had the sanctions and bowl games and all that stuff, and then all of a sudden he gets his chance and plays really well. It could be a really neat story, but he's got to take it one play at a time, and he can't try to do everything. I'm sure there'll be some emotion too if he were to play, because it would be senior night as well.